Steve's always been cocky. Always. The conversations, me, him, Wendy.
Steve's forever been presumptuous consistently. He gracious the discussions me him, Wendy expressed used to have on, said it's a similar, the Steve Harvey show. Definitely Steve would go off and do extraordinary things he would get even lately. He would do his incredible things. I felt at the time was a local area, truly was shaking with him, I think, when he was on the show. And afterward of late, it's sort of been somewhat, he's not deciphering too. I feel as an aggregate, do you believe we're misreading him, just you being somebody that has been around him? Or is it sort of more take it how we see it? I think Steve, has forever been a similar, he hasn't transformed, he hasn't changed at all Terri Johnny Devon. The gifted American entertainer, chief and maker, referred to for her famous job as Levita Al Jenkins Robinson in the Wiz hit sitcom. The Steve Harvey Show is standing out as truly newsworthy of her own in a new eyebrow-raising meeting with parody publicity. Terri didn't keep down as she spilled the tea on her previous co-star Steve Harvey. It seems like the man with the irresistible chuckle and sharp suit could have a few filthy mysteries hiding in his Hollywood storeroom bond. Indicated that Steve's beginning persona was basically as presumptuous as his $1,000,000 smile, recommending that his demeanor has been out-and-out arrogant all through his distinguished lifetime. There is no question that Steve Harvey's profession has seen its ups and downs with snapshots of gigantic achievement, and furthermore equivalent debate on his every step anyway. They brought up that Steve's new undertakings probably won't be reverberating with the crowd similarly. They once did what Vaughn uncovered about Steve is very evident in light of the fact that individuals are stunned to see Steve's opposite side, which he never needed to show the crowd seems to be his completely flawless picture, has discolored in general. And presently there is no option but to press onward. Kenan Thompson, the unbelievable SNL star who's been stimulating our entertaining bones for almost 20 years, is no more interesting to mimicking VIPs except for its. Seems like not every person is entertained by his right-on-target impressions. In a new stunning disclosure on the Smartless digital recording, with has Jason Bateman Shan Hayes. And will Arnett Kenan let the cat out of the bag about his experiences with the unparalleled Steve Harvey? Fascinating too in light of the fact that 'cause when you rich there's a feeling of modesty that individuals need to see, yet you you perhaps associated it with assuming that on the off chance that he's still sort of a smidgen of the quick-talking Steve from once upon a time, and presently he's getting achievement. And he's not switching off what his identity is. That is presumably the way that he falls off, so as yet unchanged. And you realize that is amusing, that we need particularly our kin. We believe we should show lolliness constantly. And I'm similar to I believe it's out of line, I truly do I. When Will Arnett admitted that Keenan's depiction of Steve was an undisputed top choice, it turns out it wasn't all daylight. And giggling Kenan dropped the sensation that Steve Harvey wasn't precisely excited with his impression. At first Steve Harvey didn't cherish it in the first place. Standard said on the webcast I know him. So he would send messages through common companions or right through the press, advise the little fat kid to knock it off, yet this didn't speedy him to drop the demonstration. Rather he's extended it in light of what Steve in all actuality does next minimal big cheeses. I never halted, he went on, when he accomplishes something at whatever point he pulls back from family quarrel and accomplishes something different. I'm on that, as well assuming that you're on the radar. Kenan has likewise recently opened up to the Hollywood Journalist about Steve's response to the pantomime. Steve wasn't excessively amped up for it initially, yet he developed to adore it. I don't do it because of any malignance, he told a power source. In July 2020, he let me know in various ways, or he'd express it on his public broadcast, and afterward individuals would call me and resemble hello Steve Harvey's discussing you toward the beginning of today on the radio, and I'd resemble okay well, I'm certain he'll settle down once he understands that I'm not going after him, it appears. As though there's something else to the Kenan Thompson and Steve Harvey dynamic then. At that point, meets the eye these two have a remarkable history, dating as far as possible back to Kenan's days on the Steve Harvey Show from 1996 to 1998. Yet their association doesn't stop there in 2017. When Kenan made a visitor appearance on Steve's syndicated program, the chit-chat between them was out and out amazing. Steve couldn't resist the opportunity to prod Kenan about the calls he got from companions going wild over about Kenan's pantomimes. Man, Steve, did you see Kenan the previous evening, kid? He did your last evening. Steve energetically commented plainly their fellowship is a blend of satire and brotherhood, with Kenan in any event. Relating their new gathering on the arrangement of Bring the Amusing, where Steve flippantly cautioned him to watch himself throughout the long term, the pair has shared different goodies about their lively connections. I just saw Steve when we were shooting Bring the Entertaining, and he was on the following stage doing Family Fight. Kenan said per pith, I plumped down with him, and he resembled you. Better watch yourself. I love Steve. I've known him from here onward. Indefinitely quite a while, the inclination sounds shared. We, as a whole, realize Kenan's vacation is fit as a fiddle as a result of me, Steve playfully said on additional. I need to kick his a yet. It's amusing I call Kenan constantly. And say hello man, send me a portion of your check. Since I'm around 50% of the explanation you're here, it appears as though Steve Harvey's standing for being not exactly warm and fluffy with his staff is going before him as he takes the large action to Los Angeles with his daytime syndicated program. The man, known for his sharp mind and humor, could have to chip away at his relationship-building abilities in the event that his previous cooperations or any sign rumors from far and wide suggest that Harvey's unpleasantness has been a hotly debated issue in Hollywood circles. For some time now, with the looming migration of his show, one can't resist the urge to contemplate whether his new group ought to prepare themselves for a not exactly bright greeting from the host. Will Steve Harvey carry a similar blustery disposition toward the West Coast? Or will he shock all of us with a shift in perspective in 2017? A reminder composed by Harvey and planned for his staff administration, uncovering the comic's annoying and disparaging comments. The notice uncovered a side of Harvey that stunned and frustrated a large number of his fans. The reminder peruses, don't come to my changing area. Except if welcomed, don't move toward me while I'm in the cosmetic seat. Except if I request to talk with you straightforwardly, don't disapprove of the better approach for carrying on with work. It is to bring about some benefit for my own life and satisfaction. The letter kept saying, don't come to my changing area. Except if welcomed, don't open my changing area entryway. Assuming you open my entryway, hope to be eliminated. My security group will prevent everybody from remaining at my entryway who has the purpose to see or address me. I maintain that all the ambushing should stop now. That incorporates television staff. You should plan an arrangement. Apparently, Steve Harvey may be residing by his own arrangement of rules, and some are causing a commotion at his obvious conviction that he's above confronting any ramifications for his activities. It's an obvious fact that Steve doesn't appear to respect numerous people, particularly given his new choice to preclude anybody from moving toward him at work. A stunning move proposes he's not keen on restoring his picture or making peace. While some might contend that he's legitimate in needing to stay away from working environment disturbances, what ought not be neglected is his long history of UNC conduct that has left in excess of a couple of individuals scratching their heads. The inquiry, all the rage currently, is whether Steve's most recent activities will additionally solidify his standing as a difficult one to figure out, or on the other hand, on the off chance that he'll at any point relax and deal with the outcomes of his activities directly. Steve Harvey appears to have a talent for mixing the pot with his disputable comments, and it's surely not the initial time he's landed himself in serious trouble. Reports recommend that Harvey hasn't avoided offering bigot and homophobic remarks out in the open, leaving many pondering his actual convictions. Amazingly, apparently, he's shown an unmistakable absence of regard for gay men, venturing to such an extreme as to propose they aren't genuine men in his eyes, yet his bias doesn't stop there. In spite of being a minority, himself Harvey's comments have reached out to Asians too. He caused a stir by taunting a self-improvement guide named How to Date a White Lady, offering racially obtuse remarks that naturally annoyed Asian men. The aftermath was quick, driving Steve Harvey to put out a late conciliatory sentiment for his cringeworthy joke. It appears to be that even in the period of elevated responsiveness and mindfulness, Harvey can't avoid pushing the limits. With his dubious assertions, "Excuse me, do you like Asian men?" Harvey asked, "Logically pass you like Asian men?" he asked again. "I could do without Chinese food, kid. It doesn't remain with you. Whenever I don't eat what I can't articulate," Harvey